Hey everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast 2.0. Today we are taking a deep dive into a topic that I know a lot of you are curious about, learning English solo.
Yeah, it could definitely feel like a big challenge.
Right.
But, you are not alone.
For sure.
A lot of people have walked this road before
Right.
and have come out the other side speaking fluent English.
Absolutely. And we are going to try and help you do the same.
Exactly.
So let's dive in and figure out some ways that people can learn English effectively all on their own.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we should mention, and it's something that's really, really important, is that, when you think about how you learn your first language,
Right.
it was all about listening. As babies, we are just surrounded by this constant stream of language.
Yeah, you're right.
We are just absorbing it like little sponges.
So you're saying that we should all just become babies again? Is that the secret here?
Well, I don't know if we need to go that far,
Okay.
crawl around, put things in our mouths, but I think the principle is the same.
Got it.
Immerse yourself in the sounds of English.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
Mm.
How do we immerse ourselves if we are not surrounded by, English speakers all the time?
Well, the good news is that we live in a world where we are surrounded by English content, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country.
This is true. Yeah.
You can find podcasts, audiobooks, videos on just about any topic that interests you.
You really can.
Whether it's true crime or, history or science or comedy,
Okay.
whatever sparks your curiosity.
So I should just basically have like English audio playing in the background 24/7? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if you need to do it 24/7,
Okay.
but making it a regular part of your routine is key.
Got it.
And here's a pro tip for you. You don't be afraid to use subtitles.
Oh, subtitles.
At first, especially,
Yeah.
because, they can really help you connect the spoken words with their written form.
Right.
Think of them like training wheels, when you're first learning to ride a bike.
Right. Like training wheels.
Okay, they help you get comfortable. They give you that support that you need.
So I used them for a while, but eventually I want to ditch the training wheels.
Exactly. As you get more comfortable,
Right.
challenge yourself a little bit
Okay.
by turning those subtitles off.
Got it.
Start with short bursts
Okay.
and gradually increase the time.
Yeah.
And you will be surprised how quickly your brain adapts.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm I'm immersing myself in English audio. I'm using subtitles when I need to.
Right.
But what's next?
Well, let's talk about taking that listening to the next level
Okay.
with something called shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, that sounds kind of mysterious.
It is a little bit mysterious.
Yeah.
It's like you are following someone in the dark,
Right.
but in a way you are,
Mhm.
because shadowing is all about mimicking native speakers.
Okay.
And I don't just mean repeating the words,
Right.
but actually copying their pronunciation, their intonation, even their rhythm.
Wow.
It's like putting on a one-person show
Okay.
where you are channeling the actor.
So like I pick a scene from a movie
Yeah,
or a TV show and I try to sound exactly like the actors.
you got it.
Wow.
And, focus on short phrases or sentences at a time.
Okay.
Listen carefully.
Right.
And then repeat immediately,
Okay.
matching their pace and their intonation.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to exaggerate at first.
Right.
It really helps those sounds sink in.
Okay. I can see how that would help.
Yeah.
But isn't it all about just memorizing sounds?
Right.
What about actually understanding the language?
Well, that's where the magic of shadowing comes in.
Totally.
Because by mimicking native speakers,
Right.
you start to internalize the nuances of the language,
Okay.
the way words are stressed, the way
Right.
sentences flow.
Gotcha.
And as you do this more and more,
Yeah.
something amazing happens.
Okay.
We start to think in English.
Wait, hold on. Think in English.
Yeah.
Isn't that like really hard?
It can be a challenge,
Okay.
but it is the key to unlocking fluency.
Okay.
Because you see a lot of learners get stuck in this habit of translating everything back and forth in their heads.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's like there's this constant mental traffic jam
Exactly.
going on.
And that traffic jam slows down your speaking.
Right.
And it prevents you from expressing yourself naturally.
So how do I break free from this translation trap
Okay.
and start thinking in English? It sounds a bit like magic.
It's not magic,
Okay.
but it does require conscious effort.
Okay.
So start by incorporating English into your daily routine.
Okay.
Even when you are alone,
Right.
narrate your actions.
Yeah.
I'm making breakfast. I'm getting dressed.
You got it.
Simple thoughts
All right.
expressed in English.
So I basically create my own little English-speaking world in my head.
Precisely.
Okay.
Ask yourself questions
Okay.
and answer them in English.
So like,
How am I feeling today? I'm feeling pretty motivated to practice my English.
okay, I like it. What if I'm not really a talkative person,
Oh,
even in my own head?
well, then try writing in English.
Okay.
You know, keep a simple diary,
All right.
jot down your thoughts,
Okay.
even just a sentence or two each day.
Got it.
It's like planting little seeds of English thought
Okay.
that will eventually blossom.
I like that analogy. Planting seeds of English thought.
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm listening. I'm shadowing.
right.
I'm starting to think in English.
Yeah.
What's the next big step on this solo learning journey?
Well, so now it's time to start putting all of this together and to actually start speaking.
Okay.
You know, we've talked about training our ears, training our minds to get comfortable with English. Now it's time to find our voice.
All right. So let's talk about speaking. I got to admit, this is the part that makes me the most nervous.
I think that's totally natural. You
Yeah.
know, speaking a new language can be intimidating,
Right.
especially when you are learning solo.
Yeah. It feels very vulnerable.
It does. But remember,
Sure.
everyone starts somewhere,
That's true.
and you don't have to be perfect.
Okay. So how do I get over that initial fear and
Yeah.
start speaking with confidence?
Yeah.
Even if I don't have anyone to practice with.
Well, one of the best things you can do, and I know this might sound a little strange,
Okay.
is to start talking to yourself in English.
Talk to myself. Okay.
Okay.
Like narrate my day.
Exact.
Have imaginary conversations.
Exactly.
Yes.
Describe what you are doing, what you are thinking.
Yeah.
You can even pretend you are having a conversation with someone.
So I can be my own best friend and my English practice partner. That's awesome.
There you go. You got it.
Oh, okay.
And you know, don't forget about the power of reading aloud.
Okay.
You know, pick up a book, a magazine, even just a news article,
Okay.
and read it out loud.
Yeah.
Focusing on your pronunciation and trying to sound as natural as possible.
This is making me think about, like, when I try to sing along to English songs, I'm sure I butcher a lot of those lyrics, but,
Yeah.
I have fun doing it.
I love that. And you know what? Singing along to songs is actually a fantastic way to practice
Really?
your pronunciation and to get used to the rhythm of the language.
Right.
So, you know, don't worry about being perfect. Just enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Let those sounds flow.
Okay. So I'm talking to myself. I'm reading out loud, maybe even belting out a few tunes in English.
Yeah.
What else can I do to really improve my speaking skills when I'm flying solo?
Well, you know technology is your friend here.
Okay.
Have you ever considered recording yourself speaking in English?
Recording myself like making a video.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit, I don't know, embarrassing?
It might feel a little awkward at first, but trust me, it is one of the most valuable tools you have.
Okay.
Because by recording yourself, you can listen back and identify areas for improvement.
Yeah.
Whether it's your pronunciation or your grammar or the overall flow of your speech.
That's true. I can really hear what I sound like.
Exactly. And the best part is
Yeah.
you can track your progress over time,
Okay.
which can be so motivating. You know, you will be amazed at how much you improve with consistent practice.
So it's like having a personal speech coach right in my pocket.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So I'm starting to feel more confident about speaking. But what about vocabulary?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like there are just so many words to learn.
Yeah.
Where do I even begin?
That's a great question. And it's true that English has a very vast vocabulary.
Right.
But you don't need to learn every word under the sun to become fluent.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
Yeah. The key is to focus on learning words in context.
Context. What do you mean by that?
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you are trying to build a house with bricks, but you don't have any mortar.
Okay.
You know, the bricks might be there, but they are not going to stick together.
Right.
It's the same with words.
Yeah.
If you just memorize lists of isolated words, they don't really have any meaning or purpose.
But I need to learn them in a way that, like, makes them stick.
Exactly.
Okay.
One of the best ways to do this is to focus on learning phrases and expressions instead of individual words.
Okay.
So, for example,
Yeah.
instead of just learning the word happy,
Okay.
learn phrases like, I'm happy to see you, or that's a happy coincidence.
So it's like building a house with pre-made walls instead of individual bricks.
I love that that's a great way to put it, because when you learn phrases,
Yeah.
you are not only learning the words themselves,
Yeah.
you are learning how to use them in a natural and meaningful way.
That makes sense.
Right.
This is all making a lot of sense, but I've got to admit, I've never been very good at memorizing things.
Okay.
Are there any tricks or tools that can help me actually remember all these new phrases?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Flashcards are a classic for a reason.
Right.
But here's the key.
Okay.
Don't just write the word and its translation.
Got it.
Instead, write a complete sentence using the word or phrase.
Okay.
This will help you remember it in context
Yeah.
and make it easier to recall when you need it.
So instead of just writing happy, I might write, I was happy to receive a gift from my friend.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there are lots of fantastic apps and websites out there
Yeah.
that can help you create and manage your flashcards. You
Okay.
can even use something called spaced repetition,
Spaced repetition.
which is a technique
Okay.
that helps you review information at increasing intervals
Okay.
to maximize retention.
Spaced repetition. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more about that.
We've talked about a lot of really cool and useful strategies for learning English on your own.
We really have, and I'm feeling pretty inspired right now, but I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges I have with learning anything new, especially when I'm doing it on my own, is staying motivated.
I think that's something that everyone struggles with.
Yeah.
Motivation can be a fickle friend.
Right.
It comes and goes.
Exactly. So how do I make sure that I stick with it?
Mm.
How do I keep that fire burning even when things get tough?
Well, I think one of the most powerful things you can do is to connect with your why.
My why.
Your why. Yeah. Why is learning English important to you?
Okay.
What are you hoping to achieve?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's really about connecting with more people around the world. I love to travel, and I would love to be able to have, real conversations with people from different cultures.
I love that. That's a fantastic why.
Yeah.
So when you are feeling that motivation dipping, remind yourself of that goal.
Okay.
Picture yourself, traveling, chatting with locals, sharing stories and experiences.
Okay, yeah.
Let that vision fuel your efforts.
I like that I can almost feel the sun on my face and hear the sounds of, a bustling marketplace.
There you go.
Feeling inspired.
Good.
What else can I do?
Well, think about how you can create a really supportive environment for yourself.
Okay.
Surround yourself with things that inspire you to learn English.
So like putting up posters with English quotes.
Exactly.
Or maybe changing my phone's language settings to English.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Even create a playlist of upbeat English songs that get you pumped up
Yeah.
to practice.
I like that it's like creating my own little English-speaking world.
Exactly. Make English a visible and present part of your life,
Yeah.
not just something that you do in isolation.
Awesome. Okay, so I've got my why.
Yes.
I'm creating a supportive environment.
Right.
What else can I do to make this learning journey more fun and engaging?
Have you ever thought about gamification?
Gamification.
Gamification. Turning your learning process into a game.
Oh, now you are talking. I love games. How does that work with language learning?
Well, there are tons of ways.
Okay.
You can use acts,
Right.
with points and rewards. You can set challenges for yourself.
Okay.
You can even create your own games to practice vocabulary and grammar.
So I could create a point system for myself, like 10 points for having a conversation in English,
Yeah.
5 points for reading a chapter in an English book.
Exactly.
Cool.
Get creative with it.
Yeah.
And remember to reward yourself when you reach certain milestones.
Okay.
It's all about making the process enjoyable.
Right.
So you're more likely to stick with it.
This has been so insightful. I'm feeling so much more confident and excited about my solo English learning journey. Any final words of wisdom before we wrap things up?
Just remember you've got this.
Okay.
Be patient with yourself.
Right.
Celebrate your progress and never stop exploring the wonderful world of English.
This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all these amazing tips.
My pleasure.
And that, my friends, concludes our deep dive into the world of learning English solo.
That's right.
We've covered so much ground, from listening to speaking to vocabulary to motivation.
And remember, it's all about finding what works best for you
Absolutely.
and making English a part of your everyday life.
Thank you so much for joining us on English Podcast 2.0. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep those ears tuned for more exciting language adventures. Happy learning, everyone.